I was sitting in my lawyer's office when my son looked me straight in the eye and called me a worthless old fool, said I had 30 days to get off his property. That's when I knew everything had changed. My name is Jackson Pierce. I'm 62 years old, and until that moment, I thought I'd raised a decent man. The mahogany conference table stretched between us like a canyon. Natalie Rivers, our family attorney, sat at the head with her reading glasses perched on her nose, studying the documents that would tear my world apart. On one side sat my son Brody, 35, with his wife Miranda, both leaning forward like vultures waiting for roadkill. It had been 10 days since my wife Autumn passed away. 10 days of neighbors bringing casseroles and mumbling condolences. 10 days of Brody telling everyone he was handling the arrangements while I sat alone in our bedroom, staring at the empty space where she used to sleep. Natalie cleared her throat. Thank you all for coming. We'll now proceed with the reading of Autumn Rose Pierce's last will and testament, executed September 15th, 2022. 6 months before she died, she knew the cancer was winning. To my beloved son, Brody James Pierce, Natalie began. Brody straightened. Miranda reached for his hand under the table. I leave the family residence at 847 Oakwood Drive, Billings, Montana. Appraised value $850,000. Additionally, the investment portfolio managed by Mountain West Financial, current value $1.2 million, and my personal savings account. Current balance $400,000. Miranda let out a small gasp. Brody didn't smile, but his eyes flashed with satisfaction. I did the math quickly. Old cop habit. $2.45 million. All of it to our son. Natalie turned another page. To my husband, Jackson Pierce. My chest tightened. I leave the family ranch property in Sweetgrass County, Montana. 1,200 acres, including main house, outbuildings, and all mineral rights. County appraisal, $320,000. The room went dead silent. Brody blinked twice. Wait, he said slowly. What ranch? Natalie looked up calmly. The Sweetgrass property. Your mother inherited it from your grandfather in 1998. She's been maintaining cattle operations through local contractors for 25 years. Brody leaned back in his chair. I watched his expression change. Confusion, then calculation, then something ugly. A ranch, he said. That's it? Dad gets some dirt farm in the middle of nowhere? Brody, I started. This is ridiculous, he snapped. Dad doesn't know the first thing about ranching. He's a retired sheriff. What's he supposed to do with 1,200 acres of empty land? Natalie's face stayed neutral. The will is very clear. Your mother was extremely specific about the distribution. Brody shook his head. There has to be a mistake. That land is worthless. I knew I should defend Autumn, but my throat felt tight and the words wouldn't come. She'd never mentioned any ranch. Not once in 25 years of marriage. Natalie continued reading. There is also a sealed envelope addressed to Jackson. Your wife left instructions that it must be opened at the ranch property. She slid a cream-colored envelope across the table. Autumn's handwriting was unmistakable. Jax, open at the ranch. Trust me. My hands trembled as I picked it up. Brody pushed his chair back. This is unbelievable. I'm calling my own lawyer. Natalie folded her hands. That's certainly your right. But I'll tell you now. Your mother's estate plan was drafted by one of the most respected attorneys in Montana. The will is ironclad. Brody stared at her, then turned to me. Dad, you're not seriously going to accept this, are you? My voice cracked. Your mother wanted me to have the ranch. The ranch? He repeated the word like it tasted bad. You're 62 years old. What exactly are you going to do there? Live in some broken-down farmhouse in the middle of nowhere? I don't know, I said quietly. I haven't seen it yet. Miranda stood and placed a hand on Brody's shoulder. We should go. Let your father process everything. At the door, Brody stopped and turned back. You know what, Dad? Fine. Enjoy your ranch. But don't come crying to me when you realize Mom left you with nothing but a massive tax bill and a pile of debt. The door slammed behind them. Later that evening, I drove back to the house. No, not my house anymore. Brody's house now. The same house where Autumn and I had lived for 18 years. The same house where she died in our bedroom, holding my hand and whispering her last words. Trust the ranch, Jax. Everything you need is there. It was nearly 8 o'clock when Brody came home. I was in the guest room, packing what little I could fit in 2 suitcases. He didn't knock, just walked in, holding a folder. "We need to talk," he said. He handed me the folder. Inside was an eviction notice. "You've got until April 15th to vacate," he said flatly. "Miranda and I are planning to start a family. We need the space." I stared at the paper. 25 days. "Brody, this has been my home for—" "It's my house now, Dad," he interrupted. "You've got the ranch. Go live there." He paused at the doorway. "Oh, and one more thing. Don't take anything valuable when you leave. I made an inventory. The silver, the artwork, Mom's jewelry. It all stays with the house." That's when the first real alarm bells started going off in my head. 30 years as a sheriff teaches you to recognize predatory behavior. This wasn't grief or even selfishness. This was something calculated. 3 weeks later, I was carrying my last box out to the truck when I found something that made my blood run cold. The wind had blown a folder out of the recycling bin, and it landed right at my feet. The tab read, "Dad, Residential Options" in Miranda's handwriting. Inside were brochures for nursing homes. Sunset Manor Senior Living, $3,200 per month. The photos showed old people in wheelchairs, staring at muted televisions in a sterile dining hall. At the bottom was a contract with my name already typed. Move-in date, April 30th, 2023. Authorized by Brody Pierce, power of attorney. The signature line for the resident was blank, waiting for me to sign. But here's what made my cop instinct scream. The date on the contract. January 20th, 2023. 1 month before Autumn died. While she was lying upstairs fighting for every breath, Brody had already planned to warehouse me. I took pictures of everything with my phone, then drove straight to Sweetgrass County. The ranch was 90 minutes southeast of Billings, past rolling hills dotted with cattle and endless Montana sky. The mailbox read, "Pierce Ranch" in weathered letters. I turned onto the gravel drive, my heart pounding harder with each mile. The main house sat about a quarter mile from the road. 2-story log construction, solid but clearly unoccupied for months. Behind it stood a red barn, and in the distance, I could see cattle grazing peacefully. Someone had definitely been maintaining this place. I parked and got out. The silence was complete except for wind through the grass and the distant lowing of cattle. This wasn't abandoned land. This was a working ranch. The key Natalie had given me was old brass, heavy in my hand. It turned easily in the lock. Inside, the house smelled like leather and wood smoke. The main room had a stone fireplace, comfortable furniture covered in dust sheets, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the valley. Everything was clean, organized, waiting. On the kitchen table sat Autumn's envelope, exactly where she'd known I'd find it. I opened it with trembling fingers. "Jax," it began. "By the time you read this, Brody will have shown his true colors. I've known for months what he was planning. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you while I was alive. Some truths are too dangerous to speak aloud." My hands shook as I continued reading. "Go to the barn. In the northeast corner, behind the hay bales, you'll find a ladder to the loft. There's a metal trunk up there, the brass key. We'll open it. Everything you need is inside. I love you. I always have. Trust the ranch, Jax. It's going to save you." The barn was larger than it looked from outside. Dust motes danced in the afternoon sunlight, streaming through the high windows. I found the ladder exactly where she said it would be, hidden behind stacked hay bales that looked like they hadn't been moved in years. The loft was cramped, forcing me to crouch as I made my way to the far corner. The trunk was military surplus, olive green with brass corners and a heavy padlock. My hands were steady now. This was police work, and I knew how to do police work. Inside were 4 folders, each labeled in Autumn's careful handwriting. Brody, Financial Crimes, Preston Kane, Conspiracy, Legal Documentation, and Federal Evidence. I opened the Financial Crimes folder first. The top page was a timeline. Brody Pierce Theft Documentation, September 2022 to February 2023. September 15th, 2022. $25,000 withdrawn from Jackson's retirement account. Forged power of attorney submitted to First Montana Bank. Security footage timestamp 2:47 p.m. November 8th, 2022. $35,000 transferred from joint savings account. False medical emergency claim used to bypass transfer limits. Electronic trail leads to account registered under Miranda Pierce. December 22, 2022. $40,000 withdrawn using fraudulent hardship documentation. Handwriting analysis shows signature forgery. Notary public confirms Brody presented false identification. February 10, 2023. $50,000 taken from pension rollover account. Final theft completed 18 days before Autumn's death. Total documented theft, $150,000. Attached were bank statements, security photos showing Brody at various bank locations, and copies of the forged documents. At the bottom was a note in Autumn's handwriting. Discovery date, September 20th, 2022. Surveillance period, 5 months. Subject unaware of monitoring. I sat in that dusty barn loft, staring at the evidence. While I was helping Autumn to the bathroom, reading to her at night, holding her hand through endless chemo treatments, our son had been systematically robbing us blind. He'd forged my signature, lied to bank officials, created false documentation, all while his mother was dying. And Autumn had known. She'd watched it happen, quietly documenting every transaction, every lie, every crime. Like a detective building an airtight case. The second folder was even worse. Preston Kane, conspiracy. Inside were printed emails between Brody and a real estate developer. The first one was dated October 5th, 2022. Brody, heard about your mother's condition through mutual contacts. Sorry for your loss. Been researching development opportunities in Sweetgrass County. That ranch property could be worth substantial money with the right approach. Interested in discussing a partnership. Environmental surveys show significant mineral potential. Preston Kane, Kane Development, LLC, Brody's. Reply came the same day. Preston, parents don't know the land's true value. What kind of partnership are you proposing? The email chain continued for months. Plans to build a luxury resort and spa. Environmental surveys showing lithium deposits worth an estimated $2.5 million. Agreements to split development profits 60-40 after gaining control of the property through appropriate legal channels. The final email was dated February 22nd, 6 days before Autumn died. Brody, investors are lined up. Timeline accelerated due to recent market conditions. Need property transfer completed within 90 days of your mother's passing. $1.5 million advance payment ready upon deed transfer to our holding company. Full development profits estimated at $4 to $6 million over 3 years. Your 40% share guaranteed. Preston Brody's response made my stomach turn. Deal confirmed. Nursing facility already selected for Dad. Sunset Manor has been very cooperative about the arrangement. Once he's declared incompetent due to age-related cognitive decline, I'll have full conservatorship. Property transfer should be seamless. I read that exchange 3 times. My son hadn't just stolen from us. He'd sold me out to a developer, planning to lock me away in a nursing home so he could steal land worth millions. But there was more, much more. The third folder contained legal documents I didn't understand at first. Trust paperwork, mineral rights deeds, environmental protection clauses. Then I found Autumn's letter explaining everything, and my hands started shaking again. Jax. I transferred the ranch into an irrevocable trust 8 months ago. The property is completely protected. No power of attorney can touch it. No court can seize it. The mineral rights are locked in permanently under your name as only. I had to read that twice. I also negotiated a lithium extraction partnership with Rocky Mountain Mining. They handle all exploration costs, equipment, environmental compliance, everything. You keep 70% of net profits. Conservative estimates show $180,000 per year in royalties starting 18 months from now. That's enough to live comfortably for the rest of your life. At the bottom of the page, P.S. The trust includes an ethics clause specifically naming Preston Kane. If Brody attempts any transaction with Preston or his companies, he automatically forfeits his entire inheritance and becomes subject to federal fraud prosecution. The evidence is already compiled. I sat back against the barn wall, trying to process what I was reading. Autumn hadn't just protected me. She'd set a legal trap. If Brody tried to steal the ranch, he'd lose everything. But there was still one more folder. Federal evidence contained a single business card clipped to a thick manila envelope. Special Agent Lauren Matthews, FBI White Collar Crime Division, Helena Field Office. A handwritten note was attached. Jax, Agent Matthews has been building a case against Preston Kane. For 18 months, wire fraud, racketeering, organized crime connections. I provided evidence starting September 2022. Call her when you're ready to finish this. The envelope contained photocopies of everything: bank records, emails, surveillance photos, even audio recordings on a small digital device. Autumn had been working with the FBI for months, feeding them information while she documented Brody's crimes. My wife had been running a federal investigation from her hospital bed. I climbed down from the barn loft and walked back to the house. The sun was setting over the valley, painting the sky orange and red. I sat on the front porch and pulled out my phone. Agent Matthews, this is Jackson Pierce. I think you've been expecting my call. She was at the ranch within 2 hours. Lauren Matthews was maybe 45, medium height, sharp eyes that missed nothing. She wore a dark suit and carried a leather briefcase that looked like it had seen a lot of courtrooms. Mr. Pierce, she said, shaking my hand. I'm sorry for your loss. Your wife was one of the most thorough informants I've ever worked with. We sat at the kitchen table while she opened her briefcase. Autumn contacted us in September 2022 after she discovered your son's theft. But that led us to something much bigger. Preston Kane has been running development scams across 3 states for the past 5 years. Fraudulent environmental reports, bribery of county officials, shell companies to hide money laundering operations. She pulled out a thick file. Your wife's evidence was the missing piece. The connection between Kane and your son gave us the leverage we needed. Agent Matthews spread photographs across the table, surveillance shots of Brody meeting with Preston Kane at restaurants and Billings, wire transfer records showing money flowing between their accounts, screenshots of their email conversations. We've been building a federal racketeering case, but we need one more thing to make it stick. What's that? A recorded confession. We need Brody to admit to the theft and conspiracy on tape. I thought about those 30 years wearing a badge, all the investigations, all the careful police work, all the times I'd helped build cases against criminals who thought they were smarter than the law. What do you need me to do? Call your son. Tell him you're ready to sell the ranch. Agent Matthews handed me a device smaller than a quarter. This transmitter has a range of 200 yards. We'll be listening to everything. That night, I called Brody from the ranch house. Dad? He sounded surprised. How are you settling in out there? It's been difficult, I said, sticking to the script Agent Matthews had given me. The place needs a lot of work, more than I can handle. I'm sorry to hear that. What are you thinking? I've been reconsidering your advice about selling. Maybe you were right. Maybe this is too much for me. Long pause. I could almost hear the wheels turning in his head. Well, Dad, I might be able to help you out. I've been talking to some people who specialize in rural property development. They might be interested in making an offer. What kind of offer? Let me make some calls. Can I come out there tomorrow, bring someone to look at the property? Sure, son. I'd appreciate the help. After I hung up, Agent Matthews smiled. He took the bait. They'll be here tomorrow, and when they start talking numbers, we'll have everything we need. The next morning, I watched from the kitchen window as 2 vehicles pulled up the gravel drive. Brody's silver BMW and a black Escalade. My son got out first, wearing a suit like he was closing a business deal. The other man who stepped out was older, maybe 55, with expensive clothes and the kind of confidence that comes from never being told no. Preston Kane looked exactly like what he was, a predator in a $1,000 suit. Agent Matthews and her team were positioned in the barn, the old bunkhouse, and a surveillance van parked a quarter-mile away behind a stand of trees. I was wearing 2 recording devices, the FBI transmitter and my own backup recorder I'd bought in Billings. 30 years of police work had taught me never to rely on just one piece of equipment. I opened the front door and walked out to meet them. Dad, Brody said, giving me a hug that felt completely fake. Good to see you. This is Preston Kane. He specializes in rural development projects. Preston extended his hand. Mr. Pierce, I'm very sorry for your loss. Brody's told me wonderful things about you and your late wife. We walked onto the porch. I offered them coffee, which they declined. Then Preston got straight to business. Mr. Pierce, I'll be direct. This is beautiful land, but it requires significant investment to reach its potential. I'm prepared to make you an offer that would eliminate all your worries about maintenance, taxes, and development costs. What kind of offer? Preston smiled. $400,000. Cash. Closing within 30 days. I looked at the contract he slid across the porch table. $400,000 for land worth $2.5 million in mineral rights alone, plus the ranch operation. That seems low, I said. What about the mineral rights? Preston and Brody exchanged a quick glance. Those transfer with the property, Preston said smoothly. Standard in these rural transactions. And what exactly are you planning to build out here? Eco-friendly resort, Preston replied. Very tasteful development. Minimal environmental impact. Brody leaned forward. Dad, it's a generous offer. More than this land is realistically worth. I picked up a pen, then set it down. I need to ask you something, son. Have you been taking money from my bank accounts? The porch went dead silent. A crow cawed somewhere in the distance. Brody's face flushed red. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone and showed him a bank statement. Someone's been making withdrawals using forged documents. You know anything about that? Preston started to stand. Perhaps we should reschedule this discussion. Sit down, I said, letting 30 years of sheriff authority creep into my voice. He sat. I looked directly at Brody. I know about the $150,000. I know about the forged power of attorney. I know about your gambling debts and the cocaine problem. Brody went pale as Montana snow. I also know about your plan to put me in Sunset Manor so you could steal the mineral rights. Preston's jaw tightened. Mr. Pierce, I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding, I said, standing up, is that you both thought I was some senile old fool you could manipulate. I pulled the recording device from my pocket. This entire conversation has been transmitted to the FBI. They're very interested in your business practices, Mr. Kane. That's when everything went sideways fast. Preston shot to his feet, his chair clattering backward. You're wearing a wire? Brody stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Dad, what the hell? Shut up! Preston snapped at him. We need to leave, now. But it was too late. Agent Matthews and 3 other FBI agents emerged from the barn, weapons drawn but pointed down. 2 more agents came around the side of the house. Preston Kane, Agent Matthews called out. You're under arrest for wire fraud, racketeering, and conspiracy to commit financial elder abuse. Preston looked around wildly, calculating his options. There weren't any good ones. Brody Pierce, Agent Matthews continued, you're also under arrest for theft, fraud, and conspiracy. That's when my son broke completely. Dad, I can explain, Brody said, his voice cracking. The gambling got out of control. I owed people serious money, dangerous people. I never meant for it to go this far. But you did, I said quietly. You forged my signature. You stole my retirement money. You planned to lock me in a nursing home and steal my land. Brody started crying, actual tears running down his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did hurt me, I said. Every day for 5 months while your mother was dying, you were robbing us. And she knew, Brody. She watched you do it and documented every crime because she knew I'd need protection from my own son. Agent Matthews walked over with handcuffs. Mr. Pierce, we need to take your statement, but the recordings provide sufficient evidence for prosecution. As they led Brody away, he looked back at me one more time. Dad, please, I'm your son. No, I said. You're not. My son died the first time you forged my signature. The trial took 18 months. Preston Kane got 12 years in federal prison for running development scams across 3 states. The judge called him a predator who targeted vulnerable families during their most difficult times. Brody plea bargained down to 6 years, but he had to make full restitution and lost his financial advisor license permanently. He testified against Preston in exchange for the reduced sentence. Miranda filed for divorce before the trial even started. Smart woman. I never spoke to Brody again. Not during the trial, not when he got out of prison, not when he sent letters asking for forgiveness. Some betrayals cut too deep to heal. Today I'm 65 years old, sitting on the porch of the ranch house, watching my cattle graze in the valley below. The lithium mining operation started 8 months ago. Rocky Mountain Mining has been true to their word. They handle everything, and I get checks for $15,000 every month, $180,000 per year, just like Autumn promised. I've donated most of it to the Montana Law Enforcement Family Foundation, helping families of officers who've been victims of financial fraud. Last month, we provided emergency assistance to 12 families across the state. Every morning, I walk out to the small cemetery on the hill where Autumn is buried. The headstone reads, Autumn Rose Pierce, beloved wife, protector, guardian angel. I tell her about the foundation, about the letters I get from families we've helped, about how the cattle are doing. Sometimes I just sit there in the silence, listening to the wind through the grass. But I always end the same way. Thank you for protecting me, sweetheart. Thank you for being smarter than both of us. The wind carries my words across the valley, and I swear sometimes I can hear her laugh. That soft chuckle she used to make when she'd figured out something before I did. People ask me if I regret not forgiving Brody. The truth is, forgiveness is earned, not given. He chose money over family, theft over honesty, betrayal over love. Those were his choices. This ranch, this land, this quiet life, it's all built on something Autumn understood better than I did. Family isn't just blood. It's loyalty, integrity, and love that doesn't come with conditions or price tags. Sheriff Zane Foster stops by every few weeks to check on me. Last visit, he brought news that Brody was working at a car lot in Phoenix, selling used trucks to people who probably trust him as little as I do. You ever think about reaching out? Zane asked. I looked out across the valley, at the cattle and the mining equipment in the distance, at the land Autumn saved for me. No, I said. I've got everything I need right here, and I do. The ranch provides more than money. It provides purpose, peace, and proof that sometimes the people who love you most see dangers you can't see yourself. Autumn knew our son better than I wanted to admit. She built walls to protect me and weapons to defend what mattered. Most importantly, she taught me that legacy isn't what you leave behind. It's what you build while you're still breathing. That's worth more than all the lithium in the ground. The hardest lesson in life is learning that blood doesn't guarantee loyalty, but true family will build walls around you before you even know you need protection. When someone shows you their true character through their actions, believe them the first time, especially when money is involved.